This is the 40th and last video for this course. It's taken me more than 2 years to research, write, and produce the videos, labs, and supporting materials. There's just a few loose ends I'd like to wrap up here before signing off and starting prep on the Advanced Topics course. Validation sources. It's easy to accidentally create web pages that violate the standard, and you often can't tell you have a problem because browsers are written to be very forgiving. So you might have a problem that hides for years and then all of a sudden it stops working. One thing you can do to help prevent this kind of issue is to use a validator program that can check the conformance of your code. Such a validator can point out errors, suggest improvements, and oftentimes help you debug stubborn problems on your pages. The World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, has provided a set of tools to validate your HTML and CSS, and they update the validation routines as the standards evolve. A source for available tools, https://www.w3.org/status.html. And in that page, there are several tools that I recommend specifically for students in this course. One is this validator.w3.org. It's an HTML validator. And jigsaw.w3.org/css-validator, which is obviously a CSS validator, and validator.w3.org/unicorn. That's a combined HTML and CSS validator called Unicorn. Now, there are other tools listed here which may be of interest now or after taking the advanced course. All the pages on the Still Plugging Away site have been run through Unicorn. For example, here's the Unicorn page, and there's 3 ways to enter your data: by URI, where you enter an address; by file upload, where you go to your PC and select the file; or by direct input, where you cut and paste. We're going to go over to use it by URI, and we go to a sample page from our site, copy that into the clipboard, and then paste it into the address and run the test. And there we see it passed the HTML test and the CSS test. Best viewed with any browser. Some websites are designed to take advantage of little-known features only available on a particular browser. Such sites will often have a notice: best viewed using the Chrome browser, or whatever browser is the selected one. This is awful. It makes your users who don't have that particular browser miss part of the content or capability of your site. Stick to the standards. There is a movement about called Viewable with Any Browser, urging people to boycott sites that require a specific browser. If you like to support this idea, the campaign is at https://anybrowser.org/campaign. And it has available graphics you can add to your site that can raise awareness of and support for this idea. Development strategies. This is not a web design course. You can, of course, accomplish layout and look and feel attributes with what we've discussed here, but unless you're really gifted in design, consider hiring a professional. But note, there are things you can do to ensure consistency throughout your website once the basic design is decided on. First, establish a naming convention for your files. Then specify the details and conventions for your site in order to have a consistent look and feel across all the pages. External style sheets shared by all can help simplify this and make global style changes easy. Create model or starter files for each page layout in your design scheme, adhering to your conventions and standards. Do not put all your resources into a single directory. Establish a hierarchy based on some criteria such as file type or functionality or usage and so on. And whatever standards you devise, stick to them ferociously. Otherwise, you don't really have standards. Start a library of web pages. An excellent way to improve your skills is to pay attention to websites and pages you encounter in your day-to-day work. What pages seem really well thought out? Which are poorly done? Start keeping a list of links to these pages and note down specifically what you like or don't like about a page. Then, as we mentioned before, on most web pages, if you right-click on an empty space on the page, you'll get a pop-up menu, and one of the choices of the menu will be View Page Source. If you select that, the HTML code will display in a new tab or page. For example, here's a page I developed for our Sister City Committee, and I move the cursor up to some blank space and right-click, and there's the menu, and I get View Page Source, and there's my JavaScript and HTML and CSS. Now, some people use programs that will obscure the source, so you can't do much about that. And other pages may contain HTML and JavaScript features we haven't talked about, so that won't help you. But the rest can provide a real-life example set of the best and worst coding. Most coders I've known hate to go back and look at their early code. It's often very primitive and inefficient. It takes time to gain some skill, and looking at good code can help speed the learning process up. Errata. I've been at the coding and developing teaching materials about coding business long enough to come to believe you never get the last bug out of code, you never find the last typo in text. So I believe it's inevitable there are errors here and there throughout these courses. If I spot an error or a student points out an error to me, I'll do my best to fix it. But note that the videos and transcripts are already out on YouTube and Amazon Kindle respectively, and it is quite difficult to update these programs, especially keeping videos on YouTube in sync with transcripts on Amazon Kindle. So, for the latest, most correct versions, rely on the website videos and transcripts. Also, I may add an errata section on web pages as it seems appropriate. For errors of omission, I might simply add a new lesson to the Advanced Topics course, since it is open-ended. I'm a one-person operation, so tech support is limited to email. Thank you. So finally, I want to thank you for plowing through these materials. I hope they've provided you with useful information and approaches to working with web pages. Recap. In this video, we took a look at tools to use for validating your HTML and/or CSS code, the viewable in any browser campaign, development strategies, including the importance of having standards for your HTML and CSS, the idea of building a list of web pages you consider bad and good with an eye to learning from both extremes, and how I will provide corrections when errors are found. What's next? In the advanced course, we'll explore more features of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Plus, we'll look at using server-side includes and coding server-side programs, CGIs, using the PHP programming language. Hope to see you there.